Okay, we're about ready to wrap up with this mini course, and we're going to have a look at the impact of some of the graphics that we've created and how they flow from desktop screen to mobile screen. So we've had a sneak peek at a couple of different examples, but this chapter's solely dedicated towards that. So let's have a look at our Motocross website, and we can see here straight away that this cutout effect almost works, but not quite ideal when we're looking at the white text here overlaying the right hand side. So that's something we can look at. If we then scroll down, this is flowing nicely where we see the splatter effect behind. That's nice and simple, as we'd hope. Then this frame at the bottom, although we're only seeing part of this splatter effect, it's still working wonderfully. So that's not so bad. If we look at the Greening & Co. examples that we've created and switch to mobile view, we can now see again this page working as we had a sneak preview when we last built it. And that's working as it should there. If we then go back to the home page, we can see there's a little bit of work to do here. I think we're going to have to focus on one of these two people in the foreground. So let's do that first. I'm going to click on Edit. Then I'm going to click on the pencil icon, onto background, and now we can choose the focal point. And I'm going to move it just off to the left so we can see the text without overlaying completely. But hopefully that means that the frame will come around here and here, so we're framing that rectangular area there. So I'm going to press done, and now we can switch to mobile and have a look. Okay, that's much better. Something we could think about is potentially adding a media query into this website and actually hiding that text block on mobile. So with that hidden and then the text moved to the bottom, it means then if that's optional information, that's great on larger desktop screens, but not as essential for mobile. That's something we could do. Go into Design, Custom CSS, and I've got my text expander tool to add in a media query. If you're unsure what a media query is, it's an instruction to say only make these changes on mobile view. So you might have guessed it, we're up in the difficulty a little bit here, but if you do a quick Google search, you should be able to find media queries and examples that you can copy and paste easy enough. So we're saying here, make these changes for all devices up to a maximum width of 600 pixels, which covers mobile devices. I can now use a Chrome extension, which is a block identifier. And again, if you search for Chrome extensions, you'll find a Squarespace block identifier can be your friend. And we're going to target the paragraph text within this block and see if we can hide that. So I copy that. Then I put a P at the end for paragraph. Again, if you're really out of your depth, there are plenty of people, ourselves included, who can help you with this type of change, and it wouldn't take them long at all. Likewise, if you're inquisitive and you want to find more about how to use CSS to get the most from your Squarespace website, then play away. So I'm going to put display none. So that's removed that paragraph, but only on devices up to 600 pixels in width, meaning that that should still be available on desktop. So that's one solution, workaround for mobile. You may not like that option, and if so, let's move on to another one. So again, here we're looking at the same approach. I'm looking at this text block on here using the same block identifier. Then I go into design, and this time I've already got a media query in place. This time I'm going to put heading 1 and then repeat the block for paragraph. And then we use these curly brackets to add in our instruction. Under H1, I'm going to switch it to mobile view first, and we can see that's overlapping, so I'm going to go for font size. I'll try 1.4 EM first. Oh, that's not bad at all. See 1.5. I want it so it doesn't overlap. There we go, 1.6. I can now copy and paste that effect under the paragraph, and ultimately we want to reduce this to maybe 1.1. So it's a bit of trial and error to get to the font size that we want. I think it will stick to 1 actually, and then not sure if this will work. We'll just try it. Max width of 50%. 60% should do it. So that's 60% of the width of the screen. And there we go. So this is only affecting mobile, so we can preview it on desktop, then on mobile, just to make sure that we've got the flow as we want. The only thing we haven't got here now is because of the way the image cuts in there, we're not seeing anything of our motorcyclist. What we could do is enlarge him, bring him in closer to here so we can see the outline of a motorcyclist on mobile view, but that would require going back in and tweaking the image in Canva. So that's one route. We've already looked at the other one where we take out the summary text. Another option would be to add an overlay on the image. It's a horses for courses scenario. So we look at this option down here, and it's not a million miles away, to be honest. But I wanted to show you a couple of things. First of all, we can move the focal point. So if I click on edit, pencil icon, go to the image. It's already locked to the bottom. We want to keep it that way, but I'm just moving it so that will be the center point of the image. So I haven't moved it much, but that should, there we go, mean that we have a motorcyclist in the shot. There's one other solution that I want to show you before we wrap up, and this is one we haven't done yet. Here in the UK, in true Blue Peter fashion, this is one I've done earlier. We've got this blue block here, which I can change to black, but I just wanted to show how we created this. So I created a rectangle and then used multiple splatter effects, like I did previously, to create that splatter frame around it. So you may have guessed we're actually going to put this text in a splatter effect instead. And to do that, we use an image block. First of all, I'm going to go into this pencil icon, and I'm going to keep the width down to small, or down smaller again, so it's not going to come across the page too far. That already looks better actually. It's not sprawling across, and we're framing the photo on desktop size, so I'm happy with that. But this is where we're going to move away from the text block. And if I click on this plus below the text block, and we'll delete the text block afterwards, I'm going to add in an image block. Here now we can upload an image, and I've got one saved ready. So this again is a PNG with transparent background, meaning this splatter should fit nicely over top of the image. That's step 1 complete. I can now go into the design aspect and choose poster. We can go into the design settings and fine tune this, which will give us options. Things like if we wanted the text left aligned. We could add in a call to action button as well. And we can also give it an animation as we're scrolling down the page. So I'm going to leave that option in. The only thing is now we can see it zoom crop this photo, so we're seeing this blurred and distortion here simply because we've still got this text block still in there. So we need to remove that text block above it, and that helps again. But what we might do now is actually go back into the settings and just bring that down further. And go with a medium section height, even maybe a little bit lower. Okay, so that's an alternative. Now if I press save, that works as a really nice image frame. So when we reduce our browser, you can see it's just moving with it. And then we can use some custom code just to stop it from moving outside of the frame. So again, we can reduce that text size, say for example, for widths of up to 1400, 1200, whatever that works out at. So a little bit more tinkering with this particular option needed. And we'll probably look at ways of, can we potentially create a plugin to do this for you with all of the different screen size code. But there we go. So we've got that splattered frame now. We could change the focal point so we can still see our motorcyclist around it. But those are numerous ways of how we can use the effects that we've already created on a mobile screen. Thanks for sticking with us on this course. Hope you found it useful and hope you've enjoyed it. And be sure to check out our full Box of Tricks courses in both Canva and in Squarespace. Thank you.